I almost forgot my hat. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Jethro Tull with their two songs today, Fat Man and We Used to Know, off of their album Stand Up, released in 1969. Let me check the fan. I think it's aimed too close to the microphone. Speaking of Fat Man, I think I need to go for a bike ride later. I hope that you guys are having a beautiful day. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. Let's jump right into it. This is Jethro Tull with Fat Man, which will lead into We Used to Know.
Don't want to be a fat man. People would think that I was just good fun. Would rather be a thin man. I am so glad to go on being one. Too much to carry around with you. No chance of finding a woman who will love you in the morning and all the night time too. Don't want to be a fat man. Have not the patience to ignore all that. Hate to admit to myself, half of my problems came from being fat. Won't waste my time feeling sorry for him. I see the other side to being thin. Rollers both down a mountain and I'm sure the fat man would win. Whenever I get to feel this way, hard to find new words to say. I think about the bad old days we used to know. Nights of winter turn me cold. Fears of dying, getting old. We ran the race was won. By running slowly, could be soon we'll cease to sound. Slowly upstairs, faster down, then to revisit stony grounds we used to know. Remembering mornings chilling spent, made no sense to leave the bed. The bad old days, they came and went, giving way to fruitful years. the author's land. Take what we can before the man says it's time to go. Each to his own way, I'll go mine. Best of luck with what you find, but for your own sake, remember times we used to know.
This is such a good album. When I was choosing which next Jethro Tull album to do, I wasn't initially going to do this one. I was going to do another one, but I just landed on this one. It came up recommended. The album cover looked kind of cool. I don't know if this is like an underrated album by Jethro, or if it's like, you know, one of their mainstays and most critical and important ones. But either way, like, this album is really, really impressive. Especially by these two songs, really by every song I've heard on the album, but especially by these two songs. Let's talk about What We Used to Know first. Now, before coming into this, you guys had spoiled something for me. You guys let me know about how similar the music here is to Hotel California by the Eagles, which is a fantastic song. It's a great song. Everyone loves that song, I think. But yeah, I mean, especially now that you mention it, it's pretty obvious. I'm sure that, like, if I listened to it, I'd probably be like, that sounds familiar. But I feel like I probably wouldn't be able to figure out where it came from. So thanks for the tip. But yeah, listen, it pretty much sounds the same, definitely. But regardless of if it sounds the same or not, it's a good mood, right? It moves really good. The bass line by Glenn, listen, I feel like besides Ian, I feel like all the other members may be a little bit underrated in the progressive community. For example, Glenn's bass line, it is just so noticeable. It's so prominent in the song, and it adds so much warmth to the song. Especially, I don't want to say necessarily backing up, but partnering with Clive's drumming, which, especially in the song we just did before, Fat Man. I mean, we're going to talk about that. But here it's no less powerful. Clive is just going off. He is a fantastic drummer. He's the type of drummer that I would strive to be. Technical, yes, but always playing with a lot of emotion and kind of caressing his technicality into the music and the songwriting itself. And then, of course, Martin, the guitar. I mean, this song, he owned it, right? I mean, you gotta give that up. Martin owned this song guitar-wise, the soloing, the leads. I mean, yes, it sounds like Hotel California, but apparently, because I saw on the side here, Hotel California came out after this, so I don't know where they got their inspiration from. But regardless, I mean, those solos are just fire. They just go. That is awesome. Listen to this building intensity. And I guess, yes, I have Hotel California in my head, and I don't want to talk about that too much because, you know, this is not Hotel California. And yet the melody is pretty much the same, so I can't help but kind of apply what I'm thinking of with Hotel California to this song as well. But there is this sort of quiet mysteriousness in the chords, in the bass, and especially the guitar. But, you know, it still sounds really cool, and I really like what Jethro Tull does with it. Are there similarities there? Of course. Are they different enough? I think so. And I like the differences in what each band has done with those. And you can hear Martin kind of getting ready to go off on the guitar. You hear him kind of shining back there, right? Like, Ian, he's setting you up. He's doing the main melody with the acoustic. But then you hear Martin there. He's like a lion in a cage, and like the keeper's like ready to open. He's like, ready for him? You ready for him? And then he just burst out. And naturally, we get a little bit of flute as well, as is to be expected. And you know one thing that I like about Jethro Tull in their use of the flute, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before because I feel like sometimes I repeat myself, but I feel like even though they include the flute, which is an instrument that's not commonly used in this type of music, they don't always necessarily focus on it too much. It is really just a part of the band. It really is just a part of their repertoire and what they carry around, and it's kind of it's just them, you know? And I guess also for myself as a first listener, after the appeal of like, wow, there's a flute in this band, after that wears off, it's still really cool, no doubt about that. But it becomes just more like part of the song. It's not something to be so stand-outish all the time. Sometimes it is. It's more of just an arm on the body of the band. And the trade-off between Ian and Martin right here, passing it over, I mean, he hits this hard. This is a good solo. I really enjoyed the way that Martin plays guitar. Like I said, has a little bit of that folk element naturally, but definitely leaning into the rock phase, and I would say especially even into like the psychedelic kind of phase as well. Let's talk about the Fat Man. Clive. I love Clive as a drummer, yes, but overall as a percussionist, okay? Especially in this album, he's expressing himself in different ways with different instruments, and I just love the instruments that Clive is bringing out here. This song is really cool too because it has kind of an Eastern tone, which actually makes me want to listen to David Sylvian right now. I'm sorry, I'm always thinking David Sylvian. But I really like the direction that this song takes. It's still folk, but a different side of the river.
Too much to carry around with you.
Ian's low tone singing along with that percussion is just driving this song, and I really like the way that it just rolls along so casually. And once again, flute is involved in this song, not necessarily the star, just adding another layer to it. But I also see here that Ian's playing the mandolin on this song, which I guess makes sense because that's kind of part of what at least gives it that more Eastern influence. But I think that's just so cool. It's once again showing the variety that they have, showing that they're not necessarily stuck and relegated to just one spot, you know, and they own that spot. But if they want to branch out and kind of, do a little something else, they can do something else, and they can do it beautifully. And I mean, even adding the shaker and just slowly building up the atmosphere and the groove of the song, I think they do it so smart. Inclusion of more flute there in the back as Ian's singing. I think that this is just a really fun song to listen to. Kind of reminds me in parts of Bore. It motivates and it has momentum, but I also feel like it's kind of chill. And then getting into the lyrics of Fat Man first. Don't want to be a fat man, people would think that I was just good fun, man. Would rather be a thin man, I'm so glad to go on being one, man. Too much to carry around with you, no chance of finding a woman who will love you in the morning and all the nighttime too. Sounds like he just wants to keep the weight off. That's all he's saying. He just wants to keep the weight off, hit the gym if he needs to. I don't want to be a fat man, have not the patience to ignore all that. Hate to admit to myself, I thought my problems came from being fat, man. Okay, so he's admitting that he has problems, but they're not necessarily weight related. So he says, like, for example, and that's just kind of the thing I'm getting. He says, like, no chance of finding a woman who will love you in the nighttime and in the daytime. And he says later on, I thought my problems came from being fat. Well, that's not the problem. Maybe it's something else that the woman doesn't want to be with you. Despite outer appearances, despite how someone may look and, the immediate judgment of someone, that doesn't mean anything. Judge a person by their character, not by their appearance, and not by what you see, but by what you know and what you learn of them. Roll us both down a mountain and I'm sure the fat man would win. So even this man who may not have the best appearance has some advantages and has some gifts and is probably better at something than, someone who may look a little more athletic. That's what I'm getting. Don't judge someone by their appearance because they may be better at something that you had no idea. And then the lyrics for We Used to Know. Whenever I get to feel this way, hard to find new words to say. I think about the bad old days we used to know. Nights of winter turn me cold, fears of dying getting old. We ran the race has won by running slowly. Could be so soon we'll cease to sound, slowly upstairs, faster down. Ooh, I like that. Like getting older, right? Feeling the age. It's starting to kind of wear him down. I really like that lyric though, where he says, could be that we cease to sound, slowly upstairs, faster down. Like it takes a long time now to get up those stairs. They didn't seem so long before, but now they seem like insurmountable. But then it's easy to come down. It's easy to have an accident and have a fall. Then to revisit stony grounds we used to know. With every morning shilling spent, made no sense to leave the bed. Bad old days, they came and went, giving way to fruitful years. So perhaps even though accepting like, yes, you're getting older and yes, things aren't, as things don't come as easily as they used to, still appreciating the fruitful days. And perhaps you still have fruitful days ahead. Saving up the birds in hand while in the bush the others land. Take what we can before the man. Say, it's time to go. Each to his own way, I'll go mine. Best of luck with what you find. But for your sake, remember times we used to know. Take comfort in the things you used to know. Take comfort in your past. And even though you may not be able to move as fast as you did in the past, things last. So continue to push yourself. You got so many more fruits to bear later on. I like that. Inspirational, Ian. Inspirational. Of course, I would love to know what you guys thought of this song. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. Hope that you're having a beautiful and fruitful day. I will talk to you tomorrow.